Welcome back. We're jumping right into a health education piece submitted for critique. It's focused on nutrition and aging, digestive health, cardiovascular, all of that.
A really dense piece.
Very. And it has some issues. Let's get into it.
I'm ready. This one, it's a fascinating case of a split personality, I think.
That is exactly where I want to start. I read the first 3 pages and I felt like I was in a medical lecture. It was rigorous, it was sharp. But then I hit that conclusion, and I honestly thought I'd clicked on a different document. We have to talk about this tonal whiplash.
It is jarring, isn't it?
So jarring.
You spend 1,500 words building this fortress of credibility.
Right.
The writer uses terms like gastrointestinal motility, low-density lipoprotein, sarcopenia.
All the right terminology.
They even cite specific clinical data that 5 to 6 mmg reduction in blood pressure, that's a great detail.
It is. It grounds it.
So the reader is primed. They're sitting up straight, they're taking this seriously, treating it as authoritative. And then, what happens?
Then you get the emojis.
The emojis. You get exclamation points. You get a phrase like, your stomach doesn't file a complaint.
And, your waistline might forgive you. That one really got me.
Yes.
It felt like we just pivoted from a geriatrician's office straight to, a diet culture Instagram post from 2014.
It completely undermines the entire architectural weight of the piece. When you use that kind of language, that waistline forgiveness language, you're signaling that the stakes are cosmetic.
Yes, exactly.
But the data you just presented was about heart failure and mobility. If I'm a reader engaging with content on how to prevent an arterial blockage, I don't want to be told my waistline will forgive me. I want to know I'm not going to have a stroke.
It feels like a lack of confidence, Like the writer got to the end, worried they were being too dry or too sciencey, and then tried to overcorrect with this forced friendliness.
That's the classic experts panic. They fear they've bored the audience, so they put on a clown nose at the finish line.
That's a good way to put it.
But the solution isn't to dumb it down. It's to maintain the respect for the reader's intelligence that you established in paragraph 1. So the suggestion here is to rewrite that ending entirely to match the sophistication of the intro.
Okay, so let's workshop that. There's the line, your bones will cheer.
Right.
Enforcement.
Well, what's the actual mechanism? We're talking about calcium, protein, preventing sarcopenia, and osteoporosis. What's the real benefit of that? It's not happy bones.
No, it's the ability to move. It's independence.
So write that. Instead of, your bones will cheer, you could try something like, investing in skeletal integrity today ensures the physical independence required for tomorrow.
That lands so much harder. It connects the nutrient, the calcium, to the ultimate human goal, which is independence, without some cartoon metaphor.
And it respects the gravity of the topic. You're talking to adults about their aging bodies. You have to treat them like adults.
Okay, here's another one. Healthy food equals fewer worries.
Ugh, a bumper sticker.
It's so reductive.
And it's lazy because the text actually contains the nuance to say something better. Earlier, the writer talks about how stable blood sugar reduces irritability, how hydration aids cognitive clarity. They did the work in the body copy. Don't throw it all away in the summary.
So we swap the equation for a synthesis of what they've already written.
Precisely. You synthesize it, you could say something like, nutritional discipline provides a foundation for both cognitive clarity and emotional stability.
That sounds like advice from a clinician.
Fewer worries sounds like a fortune cookie.
And I'm guessing the delicious peace of mind tagline with the little sparkle emoji, that's getting the axe.
Oh, burn it, delete it immediately. It needs to be replaced with a callback to the methodology. The piece is actually very strong when it talks about incremental change, about small, consistent improvements.
Right.
The ending should double down on the process, not on some abstract peace of mind.
This whole tonal issue, it actually bleeds into a bigger structural problem, which is how the piece motivates the reader in the first place. We're telling them to change their lives, but the reason why feels so heavy.
It's the deficit model. If you look at the language, the verbs and nouns, the entire piece is framed around preventing decay. It's basically a horror story.
It is, yeah.
We're reducing brittle bones, slowing cognitive decline, avoiding heart failure, fixing constipation.
I mean, it's accurate, though. That is what good nutrition does.
It is medically accurate, but it is psychologically dispiriting, especially for an older audience. If you keep telling someone their body is a crumbling house and they need to constantly patch leaks,
eventually they just get tired of the maintenance. It breeds resignation.
So the suggestion is to flip the script.
We need to flip the script from prehab to performance.
Performance? For a geriatric audience?
Absolutely. Maybe even more so. We need to pivot from don't get sick to stay capable.
Okay.
So look at that section on protein and calcium again. Currently, it frames the benefit as slowing the progression of osteoporosis. That's a don't get sick frame.
Right. So how do you make that performance-based? You can't promise they're going to run a marathon.
No, but you can promise stride length. Stride length is a huge indicator of vitality and aging, so we could rewrite that sentence to something like, reinforcing bone density to maintain vertical posture and stride length.
Ah, I see.
Now, I'm not just eating yogurt to avoid breaking a hip. I'm eating yogurt so I can walk at a brisk pace. I'm eating for capability.
It gives the reader a target to aim for, rather than just a hole to avoid falling into.
And you can apply that same logic to the cardiovascular section. Right now, it's about decreasing the risk of atherosclerosis. It's technical, it's cold, it's negative.
And scary. Atherosclerosis just sounds like a death sentence.
It does. So let's pivot to the immediate benefit. How about enhancing arterial elasticity to support sustained energy levels?
Okay.
Now, the reader isn't just eating fish to avoid a blockage. They're eating fish so they have the energy to play with their grandkids, or garden, or hike. It's an asset-based framework.
Does that work for the less glamorous stuff too, like fiber? The draft really focuses on reducing constipation.
Which is valid, of course. But nobody wants to identify as the person who is actively managing their constipation.
True.
It's a negative symptom. And the text actually mentions that fiber helps the gut absorb nutrients more effectively, but it completely buries that point deep in the paragraph.
So we just surface that efficiency angle instead?
We rebrand the gut. Stop treating it like a plumbing problem and start treating it like an engine.
I like that.
Change avoiding bathroom trouble to optimizing nutrient absorption efficiency. You're telling the reader, your body is a high-tech machine, and this is how we tune it for peak performance. It's dignified.
It's funny because by fixing that framing, we're actually starting to uncover another flaw, which is in how the information is organized in the first place. We're treating the gut, the heart, the muscles as totally separate issues.
Silo syndrome. It's probably the most common issue in health writing. The writer has clearly done their research, but they've organized it like a grocery list. Item 1, gut. Item 2, heart.
Item 3, muscles. It feels choppy. You read a paragraph and then you have to mentally reset for the next topic.
And that's a huge disservice to the biology. The body doesn't work in silos. If you read the source material closely, the connections are there. The writer mentions that fiber helps the gut and lowers cholesterol.
Right.
But because of the structure, those two facts are pages apart. The reader is just left with a checklist of nutrients, not an understanding of the whole system.
So how do we fix that? We can't just throw it all into one giant paragraph, obviously.
No, you regroup it by mechanism, not by body part. The suggestion is to restructure to highlight the physiological interplay.
Okay.
For example, right now, the fiber paragraph is isolated from the sugar paragraph, but they're both related to how the body handles energy and blood chemistry.
So you'd actually combine them?
I'd propose a new section. Title it something like Metabolic Stability.
I like that.
Then you take the discussion on fiber, specifically its role in cholesterol management, and you braid it together with a discussion on limiting sugar and insulin resistance. You show the reader that stabilizing blood sugar actually directly protects the arteries.
That's a much stronger narrative. Suddenly eating an apple isn't just good for your gut. It's a strategic move to protect your heart via blood sugar control.
It turns a rule, eat fruit, into a strategy, regulate your metabolism. And we can do the same for the musculoskeletal system. Instead of separate thoughts on protein and calcium, we create a structural integrity theme.
Structural integrity. That sounds engineered. I like it.
It forces you to link the protein needed for muscles directly to the calcium needed for bones. The text mentions physical independence, so let's use that as the anchor. You explicitly state that you can't support mobility with just bones or just muscles. You need the protein and the calcium working in concert.
I noticed something similar with hydration. It's currently tucked away in the mental health section.
Yeah, it's just thrown in there as an afterthought about circulation and brain fog. But 3 pages earlier, The writer was talking about gastrointestinal motility.
Right.
You can't have motility with fiber unless you have hydration. Water is the medium that makes the fiber work.
In fact, if you eat a ton of fiber and you don't drink enough water, you're actually going to make the problem worse.
You're creating a brick, essentially. A literal brick. So just from a medical accuracy standpoint, the hydration point needs to move. It has to link back to the gut section. By connecting them, we show the reader that drinking water isn't just a generic stay hydrated tip. It's a mechanical necessity for digestion.
Okay, so we fixed the tone, we fixed the motivation, and we fixed the structure. But now we have to actually get to the food. And this is where I feel the draft lets the reader down the most.
The how-to gap. Yep. This is the final major hurdle. The writer is so specific about the clinical problems. We have exact percentages for heart disease reduction, but the solutions?
Limit sugar, eat fruit.
Choose vegetables.
It's the classic eat better trap. It's correct, but it's completely useless.
It's generic. And for this audience, people who've been feeding themselves for 60, 70 years, it's borderline insulting. They know what a vegetable is. They don't need to be told to eat them. They need to know how to use them for these specific new goals.
The sodium advice really stood out to me as weak. Reduce sodium intake. That's maybe the hardest thing for a senior to do, because taste sensitivity drops with age. Food just starts to taste bland.
Exactly. If you just tell them to cut salt, they'll stop eating the healthy food because it tastes like cardboard. We need implementation granularity. We need to offer sophisticated culinary swaps, not just rules.
So instead of cut salt, what do we suggest?
We leverage the writer's own colorful produce section. We can explicitly suggest replacing salt with acidic elements, lemon juice, different vinegars, maybe sumac.
Acid.
Acid mimics the sensation of saltiness on the tongue. It brightens food without spiking blood pressure. That is actionable, specific advice. It solves the bland food problem while still hitting the clinical goal. It turns the kitchen into a lab.
That's genuine news to the reader. That's helpful. Okay, what about the fish? The draft says fatty fish and omega-3 for inflammation.
But then it leaves it vague. Not all fish are created equal. If the goal is anti-inflammation, we need a hierarchy. Don't just say fish. Explicitly name salmon, mackerel, or sardines.
And warn against others?
Implicitly, yes. I mean, tilapia is a fish, it's popular. It's also nearly void of omega-3s compared to mackerel. If the writer just says eat fish, the reader might buy frozen breaded tilapia sticks and think they're fighting heart disease. They aren't. We have to be more specific to be helpful.
There was also that line about cooking methods. Steamed, boiled, or grilled. It felt like a throwaway line about calories.
It usually is, but in the context of aging, it's so much more important. We have a real opportunity here to introduce the concept of AGEs, Advanced Glycation End Products.
That sounds exactly like the kind of term this writer would love to use.
It fits perfectly. High-heat dry cooking, like frying or heavy charring, creates these compounds that effectively age your tissues and increase vascular inflammation. Steaming and poaching don't.
So we're not just saying steaming is lower in calories, we're saying steaming prevents the formation of these specific inflammatory compounds.
Precisely. It gives the reader a medical reason to put down the frying pan. It elevates the cooking method from a diet tip to a longevity intervention.
That distinction is crucial. It stops being about weight loss, which brings us right back to the waistline forgiveness problem, and it starts being about systemic preservation.
It all ties together. The tone, the framing, the specific advice, it all has to serve the same goal, respecting the reader as a capable operator of a complex biological machine.
This has been a pretty thorough teardown, but I think a constructive one. Let's try to package this up for the listener. If they're sitting at their keyboard right now, what are the big headlines?
Okay, headline 1, fix the tone. You're a science communicator, not a social media pal. No emojis, no cheering bones. Keep the conclusion as rigorous and respectful as the introduction.
Headline 2, change the entire frame.
Stop scaring them. Shift from anti-disease language to capacity preservation language. Talk about stride length, arterial elasticity, metabolic efficiency. Focus on what the body can do, not just what it can avoid.
Headline 3,
Break down the silos.
Right. Don't list body parts, group by system. Create a metabolic stability section that links fiber, sugar, and heart health. Create a structural integrity section that links protein and calcium. Show the synergy.
And finally, get granular in the kitchen.
No more generic advice. Give us the chemistry of cooking. Acid instead of salt. Poaching to reduce AGEs. Name the high omega fish specifically. Give them the user manual, not just the rules.
I honestly can't wait to see the next draft of this. That metabolic stability section, especially if the writer can pull off that synthesis, this piece is going to be definitive.
It is a heavy lift rewriting the structure like that, but it's what turns a C+ pamphlet into an A+ reference guide.
And that is exactly what we're aiming for. To our listener, take these notes, do the surgery on the draft, and please send it back. We want to see the update. Thanks for listening.